Hello everyone! Today's video is a Lolita vlog exploring my home-based city of Edmonton. This video is actually in collaboration with PinkFakeFlowers. They are going to be showcasing some things to do in Montreal while I'm showcasing what Edmonton has to offer. Please be sure to check out their channel for a little tour of Montreal. So before we get started with the vlog, I have to talk to you about my coordinate for the day. There was going to be a lot of walking in public and the weather forecast said it was going to be a sunny day. So keeping the walking in public in mind, I chose something not as noticeable and settled for a classic coordinate with my Innocent World Tea Time JSK. This dress has working pockets, making it an ideal piece for a busy day out. I opted to wear a simple head bow and my purse is the Innocent World violin purse that matched really well with the brown trim in the JSK and the floral patterns on the OTKs. I also brought along my parasol to keep the UV rays off and to help keep the heat at bay. Alright, so let's head out. I drive, but the places that I'm showcasing today you can easily reach via public transit. It was about 10 o'clock when we arrived to Whyte Avenue, which is considered the hipster/historic area of town. You can see a lot of historic buildings down this street, and there is also a lot of mural art too. First, we're gonna go grab some morning coffee at Block 1912. This cafe is a staple on Whyte Avenue and features a vintage interior. A fun fact is that the building itself was built in 1912, hence the little homage to that time with the cafe name. The drinks are pretty basic for a cafe offering, but the desserts that they offer are amazingly varied and change up quite frequently. They have a lot of interesting flavors and the savories are really good as well. The cafe is known to be a huge advocate for local arts and music scenes, so they host a variety of live music nights and feature local art on the walls. After a bite, we headed off to our first destination, which I was really excited for. The destination was the Edmonton Streetcar station. I really love trains and had this streetcar ride in my to-do list for such a long time. The streetcars only run from May long weekend to the September long weekend, making it a short time frame to be able to ride this streetcar. It costs $5 for a single trip and $8 for a round trip, and they only take cash, so that's something to keep in mind. The streetcar rides along the old Canadian Pacific Railway tracks and goes across the North Saskatchewan River on the high-level bridge into downtown Edmonton, stopping a block away from Jasper Avenue. Some sights you can see along the way are the community gardens in Old Strathcona area to one of the only tunnels built by the Canadian Pacific Railway in Alberta, and on the bridge where you can even spot the newer LRT that's being used. So the streetcar that we initially got onto was the Osaka 247. This streetcar came from Osaka, where it was built in 1921 and was working on the line until 1990. It was then purchased by the Streetcar Society for parts and was fixed to run on the Edmonton lines. I looked it up after, but apparently this streetcar is still running in Sakai, which is a city in the Osaka Prefecture. Our group got to practice our Japanese in this car and it was a great ride on the Osaka 247. After disembarking, we waited for the Melbourne 930, which was a train car in Australia. There were at least 765 W-class trams built from 1923 to 1956, and these icons of the Australian transit were designated as a heritage item in 1990. This streetcar's first run on the Edmonton rail lines was the weekend of September 23rd, 2006. It's definitely got a bigger capacity for passengers, and the interiors really had a timeless feeling. I really loved riding this one, and the wooden shutters were a big detail highlight for me, but I didn't showcase it in the video. Definitely recommend checking out and riding the streetcars, and at the end we went to the little museum to read more on the history of streetcars in Edmonton, plus seeing some more iconic streetcars from around the world. After that, we're just gonna check out one more streetcar, which was the first streetcar in Edmonton. The wood interiors and wicker chairs are so lovely, and a fun fact is that the wicker chairs can be switched so that you don't get dizzy riding each end of the streetcar. Alright, so enough with the streetcars. Let's head across the river to the Legislature buildings. I booked a free tour of the building, and when we got there, sadly, there is construction at the main fountain leading up to the Legislature building, so I'm not able to show you how majestic it looks, but you'll have to trust me when I say it looks majestic. Heading around the back of the building, you'll go through security and through the ground floors to the main desk tour. I wasn't able to film due to security reasons, so please put up with tour guide Duan while I lead you through the Legislature building tour with my slideshow. I need you all to know that there are a lot of stairs involved, but the building does have an elevator, so it is accessible. Going up to the first floor, you are hit with the Grand Rotunda, which is the round circle in the building. It's got marbled pillars and palm trees at the top of the ceiling. Old flags are hung throughout this rotunda representing Alberta before it was Alberta. Lots of marble was used, and the fountain in the center turns on with the flip of a switch. And then on the second floor of the building is the door to the Legislative Assembly. These doors are made with sturdy mahogany, which was a cheap wood at the time that this building was built, but has now tripled in value. And above the doors you'll find the coat of arms with a little beaver on top. And on the third floor is the gallery area for the public to watch the Legislative Assembly at work. They would be at work if it wasn't election weekend, so there are no representatives to watch. But I think the most interesting item in this room was the green beaver pelt on the table used to hold the mace that starts the assembly. The fourth and fifth floors are the galleries and the office space for the representatives. There are oil paintings of the previous premiers on this floor, and on the fifth floor is a little gallery dedicated to the Famous Five, which if you are unaware who the Famous Five is, please feel free to Google them. This was such a fun tour, and I wish I took more photos because there were a lot of interesting stories and little details that I didn't even think to record. After the tour, we headed to the downtown area to check out the Downtown Spark, which is a short-term art exhibit that is hosted by the Downtown Business Association. Right in Churchill Square is Atelier Sisu's evanescent bubbles. They look so iridescent up close and was a great installation to take photos at. And at this point, it was getting really hot, so the parasol and the fountains in front of City Hall came in clutch. After chilling for a bit, we walked off to find Design in Airs monsters that were set up on top of certain buildings. The first one that we spotted was Goofs. This was literally just little weird eyeballs on top of the CKUA building. Pretty fun to see. And then off to the next one, which we passed by the Fairmont Hotel. And this one is called Nosy Bonk. The name is pretty self-explanatory. And then the last one that we walked to was Slapper. We didn't even bother to go up close to see it since you could see it from about 3 blocks away. To cool down, we stopped by a store that Becky wanted to see, which was called The Artworks. It is a flower shop with a great selection of curated gifts. I was really surprised at the selection of products that they offered, and the dog in the store was very cute and very sociable. Businesses with dogs just make life a little bit better, you know? After perusing, we also stopped by the Stanley Milner Library. This is the main branch of the Edmonton Public Library that was recently redone, and the building is now gorgeous and matches the rest of the building in the Churchill Square area. They have half of the second floor dedicated to the makerspace. This is a unique space that offers computers with creative programs loaded on it, such as Adobe and Final Cut. Along with that is a recording space for music creators and backdrops for those who make videos. They also offer 3D printing and vinyl cutting. It's literally an all-in-one space for creative that is offered for free with a library card. After checking out the library, we drove to the last installation, which was Berserker, and this was on top of the Campio Brewing Company building. All the walking in heat really made us really tired, so we went to our dinner spot. I had a reservation at Shoujo Izakaya. I was expecting it to be a little bit more similar to the izakayas in Japan. However, this place was quite spacious. The drinks menu itself was very extensive, and some of the drinks were inspired by animes such as Moving Castle and Android 18. For food, we got a variety, and with it being an izakaya, most of it was shared. We tried a lot of the menu, but the dish that I highly recommend is the honey butter soy edamame. It was so good. And not to say the other dishes weren't good, but the edamame was the standout of all the things that we tried. Afterwards, we headed upstairs to Made by Marcus for some ice cream dessert. Made by Marcus is from Calgary, but they have a great selection of flavors and frequently collaborate with local restaurants or coffee shops to create wonderful new flavors. They have a good variety of regular ice cream plus vegan and store-bought options too. I really enjoy their ice cream despite being lactose intolerant, and with the ice cream as an ender, that was the whole day. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope that you had a glimpse into what fun things that Edmonton has to offer. Please be sure to check out PinkFakeFlowers video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!